What's up, fam? Welcome back. Here we go with another video, you know what I'm saying, where I can drop some knowledge in you, you know what I'm saying, so you can grow and build. So, so let's get right on into it. Oh, if you're new, subscribe, so you can join this community. All right, let's get into it. So we're gonna read Luke 22:42. This is actually one of my favorite scriptures because Jesus is a real one for this. Okay, so let's get into it. All right, and these words read, saying, Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. Thank you, God, for your word. So today I want to talk about, I think, one of the most, consequential areas that I think really can stop us from growing, but also it can hurt us. And that's the ability to have tough talks, right? So when I think about tough talk, the way that I define it to be, it is the ability to have a conversation of an unwillingness of a one. Okay, let me say it again. It is the ability to have a conversation of an unwillingness of a one, right? So let's break that down, right? So when I say the unwillingness of a one, it's like, are you shy? Are you scared? Are you fearful? Is it afraid of rejection? All of those can contribute to the inability to have conversations that need to happen. Like, I don't want to have this conversation because I don't know what this person is going to say, or the last time I said something and the outcome is going to be the same, or something of that nature, right? And so what that does is that stops us from having needed conversations, right? But then there's something in us that creates a unique agitation to be like, you know what, I'm going to step aside how I feel and have this conversation, because not only do I want to say what I need to say to basically get off my chest respectfully and honestly, out of love, of course, but then yet I want both of us to move, right? I want to grow, right? So having tough talk is the ability to elevate. And that is so important because I've seen this at work. I've seen this in family. I've seen this in businesses. I've seen this in so many different ways to where we don't have, or don't want to have rather, tough talks, but it's needed. And what it does is it stops us from the ability to elevate. And it's like, how can we expect to move to that next point in that relationship, or, to get rid of generational curses, or how do we expect to evolve or to revolutionize if we're not willing to have conversations that need to be had, right? And I think the enemy can't stop our elevation, but it can prevent us from receiving the tools of getting there. And that's utilizing or capitalizing really on fear and rejection, or the thought of, or sometimes it could be overthinking. So whatever category that it is, Jesus eliminates that. Because he's like, look, I'm going to have a tough talk, right? So a little background, Jesus is getting ready to go through the process of his death, his burial, and his resurrection. And right before, he like, look, God, I don't want to go through this. Like, remove this cup from me. Like, take it away. Like, I don't want to. And when I think about that, that's an honest conversation. But then yet he concludes with, you know what? It's not my will. It's thine will be done. We're simply saying it's like, you know what? We're going to elevate. And I know that the purpose in God, what you have for my life, is so much better than my individual one. So it really breaks the shackle of fear and rejection by not giving that the final destination, but it allows the ability to move. And so that is what I really want to drop in your spirit, in this video. It's like, don't let anything stop you from having conversations that need to be had. I can understand that it could be family, it could be whatever the case may be. Don't look at the opposition, look at the purpose. right? Because communication, it is the vehicle to move. And so how we do that is that we need to have conversations that need to be had. And I think that that is so consequential, because it's like my elevation is depending on that. Someone's deliverance is dependent on that. So it's like we have to have these conversations. And so whether it's a group of friends or whether it could be, speaking up could be someone's healing. So we have to be intentional of having these conversations, really, because again, it allows both. You become fulfilled and both of y'all become moved. So it's kind of like both is depositing and both is withdrawing, right? Because they are hearing it and you are depositing it. And by them listening, they're depositing it. And then, like they are withdrawing it. So it's definitely unity there. And so that's something I want to drop before you, to have tough talks, because again, I want you to move. I want you to elevate. But this is one of the areas that I have seen in so many different areas, even within the church, even, having conversations, having real conversations like in the church. It's like, you got to have that ability to talk about things, because the reality of it is that there are some things that really conversations that need to be talked about. So if we're not willing to have those conversations, then it prevents the unwillingness to move and the unwillingness to revolutionize. I would say the first thing that I would do is pray. God, give me the words and give them the heart to understand. So that way I don't say something that will hurt them, and that way that they don't have a deaf ear to what it is that I'm really trying to say. Right? Because I think often it's like if we come at it with our own force, we may say something out of pocket. That person may have a hot temper. The next thing you know, that's adding fuel to the fire. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, we going back and forth and all of the other stuff like that. And then, Satan gets the glory. And that just defeats the whole purpose as to why we're having this conversation. But what it does is, it's like God knows them better than you do. And God knows where light has them. So when we seek God, because he knows, he gives you the words to match what their hearts can understand. So that's like number one. And number two, I say just speak out of love. I do believe that, agreeing, we're not going to always agree with, what the other person has to say, and that's fine. But what I do feel is that when we come at it with an openness, both parties come at it with an open heart and an open mind. So whether we agree with it or not, that love, it gives us the ability to pivot. It gives the ability to effectively hear what someone has to say. You know what I mean? Like it meshes things together. Because we can have a conversation and, you may not agree with what I have to say, but then yet if you come with the open heart and an open mind, then I just believe that, you're going to hear my heart and not my words. And that's something that we have to be intentional about. And number three, be positive. Be positive, about it, whatever it is, it doesn't have to come from a negative place. I think wherever our mind goes, our action goes. So if I come at it with a negative mentality, but then the action is going to follow that. You know what I mean? But if I come at it from a positive mentality and I come at it with a heartfelt and a purpose way, then I believe that, the end goal is going to be unity. So listen, I pray that this is something that was dropped in your spirit to the point to where you can have those tough talks with the family, church, businesses, friendships, whatever that needs to be done so that you can move and so that you can elevate so you can reach your highest level. But you can do it. You can get there. There's nothing that is too hard for God. There's nothing that's too hard for Jesus. Ain't nothing too hard. So stay cool, stay blessed. May God bless you, and see you next time.